Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome to a slightly different video. Regardless of where you live in the world, you will see these companies that will offer to buy your car. No questions asked, you haven't got a part exchange, you haven't got to buy another car, anything like that. You can take your car to them, they'll have a look around it, make you an offer, give you cash or a cheque or bank transfer, whatever you like, on the day, and jobs are good. Now companies that do this exist all over the world. I know in America you've got CarMax, which is the most famous one, probably on account of all the YouTubers doing it, and in the UK we've got one called WeBuyAnyCar, advertised to us by a daytime television host called Philip Schofield these days, and basically says take the hassle out of selling your car, make it easier, don't have people coming around and trying to haggle you down, here's a price, you get it, your car's sold. But even they will admit they will offer you below market value for it, and that's because of course first of all when they sell it there's got to be a bit of profit for them on the car, but also because the vast majority of cars they buy, they don't just sell through normal dealerships, they chuck straight into British car auctions and they just sell them that way. But they don't like anything high mileage, over 10 years old, or even slightly weird or quirky. So I thought I'd find out just how much they don't like the old, high mileage, weird or quirky with the three cars that I've owned over the years that I've been driving. But before we do that, I do want to give you a bit of context to show you what we're dealing with here for what kind of money you can expect WeBuyAnyCar to offer you. So I'm on the computer here, we've got a screen capture going, this is all getting a bit gaming YouTuber, and what I've done is get a sample of this. This is a 2018 Volkswagen Golf S 1.4 TSI DSG OMG KFC, and it's done, I believe, is it 31,000 miles? Yep, 31,500 miles. It's a 2018 plate. It's got some options that are of interest to Volkswagen enthusiasts, I'm sure, and this is like any other boring car that you'd see driving down the road, and it's on sale right now at a dealership called Haven Motor Company. No affiliation with them at all, just this one came up when I searched for a Golf, for £11,690. Now what I want to know is, what would WeBuyAnyCar offer for this? So what you do is really simply, you just put in the registration number of the car, which obviously with this car being for sale that's on display, you put it in, you put in the details about how much service history you've got and also how many owners the car's had, and from there they can give you an instant valuation. But it is worth bearing in mind, of course, when they see the car in person, which with COVID I don't quite know how they're doing, they're probably going to knock you down. For any little curb wheel or stone chip or scratch or mark in the leather, that price is not going up, it is definitely going down. So I put the details for our lovely 1.4 litre Golf KFC in, and the quote that they gave me to buy this car, having not seen it, so they don't know about any little stone chips, then again neither do I because it's not my car, they offered me £9,315. So if you were to take this car from this dealership, you buy it for 11,000, let's say 11,500 because there's a bit of haggle room there, then you took it straight to WeBuyAnyCar and did nothing else, you'd immediately be losing £2,200, which gives you some idea. Bearing in mind this is a modern car, it's a relatively new one, the mileage is quite low, the spec's pretty good, it's only had one owner. This is about as desirable as you can get for a car for WeBuyAnyCar. So if they don't like that, they're not going to like my collection of nuggets, are they? So what we're going to do is try my various other cars, and we're going to work our way up in terms of how undesirable that car would be to them. We're going to start with the most normal car I've ever owned, which was my 2012 Fiat Punto Twin Air, which for those of you that haven't been following this channel for a while, I bought as a kind of stopgap daily driver while my Seicento was getting resprayed. I did a whole series on living with a modern car and do I actually like modern cars, was I wrong about my opinions on them. I'm going to put the details in here and see what they would have offered me for it if I could have just saved the hassle of selling it to someone I know. Now the number plate for that car was Whiskey Golf 12 Juliet Yankee Romeo. You'd never know I used to work at an insurance company, would you? And then we go on here, and they want to know two details of the car. They want to know what is the mileage. Now I remember it being quite high, it was 64,000 miles, that car. I think I was the fourth owner, so let's say it's had 4 owners and it had some service history. Get my valuation, it says. Now bearing in mind, I sold that car for £2,300 about 18 months ago, so £2,300 is the value to beat. Could I have made any more money by going straight to WeBuyAnyCar? Let's find out. £1,285, so I could have lost myself over £1,000 by taking it to them. Bearing in mind, I paid significantly more than that for that car when I bought it, when it had 4 knackered tyres, knackered discs and pads, it hadn't had a service, it was disgustingly dirty, so I could have immediately lost myself a substantial amount of money, it has to be said, if I'd just driven it from the person I bought it to straight to WeBuyAnyCar. And that doesn't account for the fact that that car, the paint was fairly rough on it, had quite a few little dings and scrapes on it, and it was a Cat D write-off from an accident at one point, so I'm guessing that would probably be down to more like 900 quid by the time WeBuyAnyCar WeBuyAnyCar saw it. Glad I didn't sell the Punto that way. Next up, I want to try the third car I ever bought, which was my 1999 Alfa Romeo GTV. If you haven't seen it on the channel, go and have a look. I actually bought it off of the company I worked for, and by the time I came to sell my GTV Twin Spark, it owed me just over £1,000 for all the paint and materials and parts I had to buy for it. It's worth noting that I did actually sell that car for over £1,000 because every penny it made over £1,000 on the eBay auction I sold it on went to the Samaritan's mental health charity. Now, obviously, the guy Stuart that bought it, he's a lovely guy. He still owns the GTV, still doing bits to it. Stuart, you're a legend, and you're really loving that car from what I can tell. So, yep, continue enjoying it. But for now, let's see how much I could have not given to charity had I sold the Alfa to WeBuyAnyCar. Remember, this is a car that owed me £1,000 and some odd pounds. Yeah, Alfa Romeo GTV. Now, mileage was 132,000, if I remember correctly. Previous owners, it had quite a lot of previous owners. It had about 8 or 9 from memory. Service history, it did have a full service history, that car. Genuinely, it had a massive chunk of history with it. £150, ladies and gentlemen. WeBuyAnyCar, that car that owed me just over £1,000, WeBuyAnyCar would offer me £150 for it. I spent more than that on materials for the GTV, and I think this just highlights that just because it's easy and it's available and they will buy any car, because I'm fairly certain they will, they've certainly said they will, it's worth bearing in mind that when I sold that car, you could have chucked it on eBay at $995 buy it now and probably sold it within 24 hours. So just because the money is there now doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So finally, I think we come to the one that we all want to know about, the Super Seicento. Let's see what WeBuyAnyCar would offer for my little nugget, my forever car, which I'm never selling to anyone ever. I don't care. I will be homeless before I sell that car. And I have an unknown amount of money into. As with any project car, I haven't really tallied how much it owes me because I'm scared, frankly. So let's just assume it's about £30,000 and move on. Previous owners, I don't actually know how many owners it's had. 4? We'll say 4. Mileage, the shell is on 128,000, I think, 128,000. Someone in the comments will have checked the MOT history and told me by now. So, some service history. I do know that I bought that car stock as just a standard Seicento for about, I think it was 550, 600 quid, just for context. And if you were to buy yourself a Seicento now, that's about what you can expect to pay. Let's have a look. Oh wow, interesting. £285. Not going to happen, WeBuyAnyCar. Not ever. But that's quite interesting then, that the Seicento is probably, out of that and the Alfa, I guess it's slightly more desirable for someone to own as a dealership because it's a normal car and that it's just a small hatchback. I'm guessing that value would probably change when they found out all the mods that have been done to it, at which point it would probably be £2.85. But that's reassuring, I guess. So there you go. If you've got an Alfa Romeo GTV, give it away before you sell it to WeBuyAnyCar, because frankly, you would probably lose less money doing that. So there you have it then. 3 cars which between them are probably worth about £4,000, maybe £5,000 in monetary terms, and WeBuyAnyCar didn't even offer me £2,000 for the lot. Really reassures how much we spend our money, doesn't it? Anyway, that was just a quick little video. I didn't really have time to do anything else this week because I'm all over the place with work, because we've got a few new project cars that we've just bought. But there you go, there's a quick delve into the world of WeBuyAnyCar and why it isn't necessarily the best way to sell your car, even if you are desperate for cash. There will be someone, particularly if it's even vaguely interesting as an enthusiast car, there will be someone on Facebook that will offer you money for it, and I can pretty much guarantee it's going to be more than 150 quid for your Alfa GTV. So on that note, thanks very much for watching, everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. Catch you soon, and have a good one.